The sun had barely risen, yet the entire village of Riverstone was already buzzing with gossip. Something strange had happened, strange enough to make even the palm trees whisper. Right in the middle of the dusty market road, Ethan Miles, a young man of 28, knelt on the ground with his hands on his head. Not because he lost money. Ethan never had money to lose. But because what just happened to him was enough to make even a strong man question his existence. A very beautiful woman, Melissa Grant, had just spat directly at him. Not mistakenly, not accidentally, intentionally, with confidence and full chest. "Look here, Ethan, or whatever you call yourself," Melissa shouted, her voice slicing through the morning air. Even tomato sellers paused their fights to listen. "If you ever stop me again to say nonsense, I swear you will not like what I'll do to you. Trash!" She pointed at him with the same hand holding her designer handbag, the kind worth more than Ethan's entire house and its lifespan combined. "You? The same man that cannot afford one proper meal per day? So you want to marry me? Me? Melissa Grant?" She spread her hands dramatically. "My dear, please face your reality. Love is not charity work. Leave me alone before I faint from embarrassment." And with that, she hissed the type of hiss that carries curses, dust, and insult inside it. Then she walked away, swinging her hips like victory drums were playing behind her. Everyone turned to stare at Ethan. Poor Ethan. The only son of Mr. Ronald and Mrs. Patricia Miles, officially recognized as the poorest family in the entire village. Even the poor people avoided visiting them so they wouldn't look too poor. Ethan simply remained kneeling, blinking like someone whose brain was rebooting after heavy shock. "Jesus," he muttered under his breath, "even poverty has started using microphone to shout my name." A peek into Ethan's life. Ethan's daily routine was simple and predictable. Wake up before sunrise, eat whatever leftovers existed, follow his father to their tiny farmland, hustle from one farm to another looking for small money, come home tired, sleep and repeat. No holidays, no enjoyment, no hope of enjoyment. His family barely ate twice a day, sometimes once. Education? That one had long expired. After secondary school, poverty sent him a text message that read, "My friend, stay where you are. No university for you." Yet Ethan kept hoping, dreaming, believing. Whenever frustration hit him, he would sit under their old mango tree and whisper, "God, when will this suffering end? When will people stop laughing at us like we're a comedy show? Why is poverty hugging my family like we owe it money?" His father, Ronald, would always pat him on the back with shaky hands and say, "My son, life may beat you now, but one day you will beat life back. Don't lose hope. Keep working hard." And truly, those words were the only strength Ethan had left. When Ethan clocked 28, he decided it was time to settle down. But how will a man settle down when no woman even agrees to stand near him for more than 2 minutes? Every lady he approached looked at him like he was a walking financial burden. Some laughed, some hissed, some asked whether love could be eaten with stew. One even told him, "My dear, go and marry hunger. That's your true soulmate." But Melissa's humiliation was different. It didn't just sting, it reset his destiny temporarily. After she spat at him, insulted him, and nearly relocated his self-esteem, Ethan slowly stood up from the ground. He dusted his trousers, he took a deep breath, and he said quietly to himself, maybe marriage is not for people like me. Maybe I should just marry my hustle. At least that one won't spit on me." But even as he walked away, trying to hide his shame, tears stung his eyes. Not because of Melissa's insult, but because he truly wondered, will I ever find someone who sees me and not my poverty? And so, with a heavy heart, Ethan Miles continued walking down the dusty Riverstone road, regretting ever taking the step. As he walked away from Melissa's insult that morning with his soul dragging behind him like a tired goat, his chest hurt, his pride burned, and even his shadow looked ashamed to follow him. He muttered as he walked, "God, if you're testing me, beg reduce the volume. I'm not Job, please." He was heading home to soak his head inside a bucket of cold water and reflect on his life when something unexpected happened. Something that felt like a scene from Nollywood. Just as he turned the corner near Riverstone Village Square, he bumped into someone so gently and yet so dramatically that even the wind paused to watch. A young woman. Beautiful. Calm. Soft-looking, but carrying sadness in her eyes like she was born with it. Her name was Anna Blake. Anna's life had never been easy. Lost her mother at age 5. Her father remarried a woman who probably attended the University of Wickedness, Faculty of Advanced Maltreatment. Her stepmother, Mrs. Naomi Blake, treated her like free labor plus spare frustration storage. The woman's hobby was shouting Anna's name for no reason. If breathing annoyed Naomi, she shouted. If Anna walked too quietly, she shouted louder. And now that Anna was 21 and learning hairdressing in the village salon, Naomi had added another torture. Send her out every day with a tray of bananas. If she didn't finish selling, Naomi never forgot, or forgave, or even allowed her to sleep. On this particular day, Anna sat under the old mango tree by Riverstone Square, the same tree everybody used for shade, gossip, and heartbreak counseling. She wasn't crying yet, but the sadness on her face made even the tree look concerned. Ethan saw her and stopped. For the first time that day, his wounded pride took a break. He walked closer. "Hey, you look like you're carrying the whole village on your shoulders. What's wrong?" he asked softly. Anna lifted her head. Her eyes were red. Her tray of bananas looked untouched. "I haven't been able to sell these," she said, voice shaking. "And if I go home with them like this, my stepmother will. She'll starve me again tonight." The tears she had been holding back finally spilled. Ethan's heart squeezed. He knew that kind of suffering too well. Riverstone poverty had a uniform. He wore it, she wore it, and many others wore it, but hers came with extra punishment. He rubbed the back of his neck, looked at the bananas, then looked at her again. He had only 200 naira in his pocket, money he intended to use to buy a new hoe for farm work the next day. But something inside him whispered, "Guy, this girl needs it more than your hoe." So Ethan smiled gently and said, "Don't worry, let me buy the rest." Anna gasped, "But it's a lot. You don't have to." "I want to," he replied. "At least you'll sleep with food in your stomach tonight." She watched him count the last of his money and hand it over. It wasn't the money that moved her. People hardly helped in Riverstone. What touched her was the kindness behind the gesture. "Thank you," she whispered. Not dramatic, not exaggerated, just sincere. They talked under the mango tree for a long while. For the first time in his life, a girl looked at Ethan without seeing Poverty Sponsorship Award. She listened. She laughed, genuinely. She didn't judge his clothes, his cracked palms, or his simple dreams. Ethan couldn't believe it. Before she left, they agreed to meet again the next day. And they did. Then the day after, and the next. The mango tree practically became their headquarters. 3 months flew like Harmattan breeze. Their bond grew like cassava, fast and strong. One evening, with his heart beating like it wanted to escape, Ethan looked at her and said, "Anna, will you marry me?" Anna didn't blink, didn't hesitate, didn't calculate bank account balance. She said yes before he even finished the sentence. To her, Ethan wasn't poor. He was peace, kindness, safety, a better home than her stepmother's house could ever give her. Ethan rushed home to tell his parents. Mr. Ronald and Mrs. Patricia were so excited you would think their son announced he received admission into Harvard. They blessed the union immediately. Days later, Ethan and Anna had a small wedding. Very small. No DJ. No big food. No aso ebi. Just love, smiles, and one stubborn goat that kept interrupting the ceremony. But villagers? Villagers must talk. She'll suffer, oh, one woman said loudly. Marriage to Ethan? Poverty no day fear anybody again, another added. Even Anna's stepmother laughed so hard you'd think she was paid to do so. But Anna held Ethan's hand tightly. She didn't care. She believed in him, and he believed in her too. For them, that was enough. Truly changed for Ethan after marrying Anna. Not because money suddenly fell from the sky, but because for the first time in years, there was laughter inside the Mileses' compound. Real laughter, not the type people use to cover pain. Anna was the sunbeam the poverty inside that house never knew it needed. Every morning, she tied her scarf, grabbed a hoe, and followed Ethan to farms where they cleared land for villagers, collecting tokens that could barely buy 2 sachets of pure water. But she never complained. If Ethan said, "Anna, let's rest small," she would laugh and reply, "Rest? My dear, it's hunger that wants us to rest permanently. Abeg, let's finish the work." Her humor alone kept the whole family strong. Mr. Ronald and Mrs. Patricia adored her. Even the goats in the compound behaved better around her. Life was still hard, yes, but the house felt lighter, like suffering had been demoted from head of the family to assistant officer. One early morning, as Ethan walked toward the farmland, humming one of his father's old songs, he noticed something shiny on the ground. At first, he thought it was bottle leather, broken bottle, because in Riverstone, bottle leather outnumbers people. But as he moved closer, his eyes widened. A wallet. A thick, foreign-looking, heavy wallet. Ethan blinked once, twice. He opened it and almost collapsed. Inside was money. Not naira, not pounds, not dollars. Something foreign and long, looking like money that doesn't speak English. Beside the money was a complimentary card. Ethan swallowed hard. If poverty were a person, it would have tapped him on the shoulder saying, "My boy, think well. Don't do nonsense." Anna, having joined him on the pathway, peeked inside and gasped. "My husband, return this wallet, please," she said softly, holding his arm. "Blessings that come clean last longer. Don't let temptation disgrace our destiny." Ethan nodded instantly. He didn't even argue. Keeping the wallet had never crossed his mind. His conscience was too big for his pocket. So he walked to the village public call center, the one where the operator always shouted at customers like he was fighting with them. "Hello, talk fast. Credit is running," the operator snapped as Ethan dialed the number. Within minutes, a white man arrived in Riverstone, sweating and panicking like someone searching for his last hope in life. The moment he saw the wallet, he hugged Ethan like he had found his lost son. "You returned it?" "Yes, sir." "All of it?" "Yes, sir." "You didn't remove anything?" Ethan stood straight. "Sir, if I remove anything, will I still be here talking calmly like this?" The white man burst into laughter. He was impressed, genuinely shocked at Ethan's honesty despite the obvious poverty around him. "I must reward you," he declared. "Reward?" Ethan stammered. "Yes, reward. Not small one. A big one." And before Ethan could protest, the man handed him an amount of money that made the call center operator freeze mid-shout. Money that could transform a whole family. Money that could relocate suffering out of their compound permanently. Anna covered her mouth, tears flooding her eyes. Ethan nearly fainted. The entire village nearly caught fire with gossip. That night, Ethan and Anna lay on their small bed, staring at the ceiling as if the secret to life was written on it. "My wife," Ethan whispered. "Yes, my love? I think we should move to the city, start a new life, build something of our own. Poverty has suffered us enough." Anna nodded immediately. "My husband, I've been waiting for that statement since afternoon." They both laughed softly. The next morning, Ethan told his parents everything. How he found the wallet, how he returned it, how God used a stranger to bless them beyond imagination. Mr. Ronald shouted, "Praise the Lord," so loudly that even Naomi heard it from her own compound and hissed. Mrs. Patricia danced like she was auditioning for a gospel music video. After years of humiliation and lack, they were finally rising. A few days later, bags were packed, hugs were exchanged, tears were shed, and Ethan and Anna left Riverstone. Their arrival in the city was like stepping into another planet. They bought a beautiful, fully furnished duplex, the kind with tiles that reflect your future and a gate that intimidates poverty from the entrance. Anna opened one of the biggest hairdressing salons in the city, complete with AC, big mirrors, and customers that paid real money. not tomatoes. Ethan opened a boutique so classy that even mannequins looked expensive. Years passed. Success grew. Life became sweet, and they brought Ethan's parents to live with them, giving them comfort they had never dreamt of. One calm morning, Mr. Ronald walked into Ethan's room. "My son," he began gently, "your mother and I are old. God has blessed you. We want to go back to Riverstone. So when our time comes, we will be buried in the place we know." Ethan's throat tightened. He didn't want them leaving. But he understood. He held his father's hand. "Papa, give me 3 months. I will build you a new house. Not that old mud hut. Something beautiful. Something worthy." His father smiled proudly. 3 months later, a mansion rose in Riverstone Village, a mansion so fine that villagers thought angels built it. Gossip reached Melissa Grant, too, and when she heard that Ethan, the same Ethan she spat on, was now rich, her silence was loud, very loud. Ethan decided to take his parents home to see their newly built mansion was the day Riverstone Village saw what they had never seen before. Not in real life, not in dreams, not even in their great-grandmother's stories. It all began early that morning. 2 cars, not ordinary cars, but shining, sparkling, intimidating cars rolled into Riverstone like visiting royalty. The sun reflected off the body of the vehicles so beautifully that one villager screamed, "Hey, Jesus! Even the car is shining past my future!" The first car was a sleek black SUV with chrome details so clean you could use it as a mirror. Inside it sat Mr. Ronald and Mrs. Patricia Miles, both dressed in elegant traditional wear. They did not look like the same people who once struggled to even buy 1 bar of laundry soap. Today, they looked like the village king and queen returning from a world tour. The second car, a luxury car with cream leather seats and tinted windows, carried Ethan and Anna sat proudly beside her husband like a queen who knew destiny had finally apologized for all the suffering she had endured. Her gown shimmered. Her hair glowed. Her confidence filled the entire street. People whispered, "Ah, is that not the same Anna that Naomi used to send on errands with banana tray? See how this girl has transformed." Chai! Wicked stepmother will be hiding her face today. By the time the cars reached the second entrance gate of Riverstone, the entire village had gathered outside, literally everybody. The chiefs wore their ceremonial beads. The community ruler stood with his staff, smiling like he personally sponsored their success. The maidens lined up with clay pots and decorated calabashes. Children ran ahead, dancing barefoot. Even the oldest grandmothers sat under umbrellas, refusing to blink. Drums thundered, flutes sang. Women ululated so loudly that birds fled from the trees. Someone shouted, "The Miles family has come back home." It felt like a festival, even felt like a public holiday. The ground shook with dancing feet. When the first car stopped, the driver rushed to open the door for Mr. Ronald and Mrs. Patricia. Immediately they stepped out. The entire village roared, "Welcome back!" Mr. Ronald lifted his walking stick proudly. Mrs. Patricia waved like a first lady. They were glowing. Moments later, the second car stopped. As Ethan stepped out, the maidens gasped. As Anna stepped out, the men gasped. They looked so classy, so polished, so glowing that Riverstone villagers briefly forgot their own problems. One young girl whispered to her friend, "If suffering produced this kind of blessing, maybe I should also suffer small." Her friend replied, "Please stop before the village people hear you." Ethan took Anna's hand gently, and the cheering grew louder. Then the celebration began. The drummers beat with so much energy, the drums nearly burst. Women danced with their wrappers tied high. Men shook their rattles. Children tried to mimic the dance steps, even though many looked like confused chickens. The chiefs brought out cola nut, palm wine, and traditional gifts. The village ruler welcomed them with a speech so sweet one would think he was auditioning to be their official praise singer. "Today," the ruler declared, "Riverstone welcomes home its own son, the pride of our land, Ethan Miles, his beautiful wife Anna, and his honorable parents. May blessings continue to follow you." The crowd screamed. Naomi, Anna's wicked stepmother, stood at the back, arms folded, face stiff. The celebration pained her like pepper inside fresh wound. But she pretended to smile. Everyone knew she was pretending. Melissa Grant, the same girl who once spat at Ethan, was also somewhere in the crowd, hiding her face behind a wrapper. Her regret was loud. Then came the moment. The crowd followed Ethan and his family as they approached the newly built home. Screams erupted. Some people lost balance. Others dropped their calabashes. Because there it stood, a mansion. Not a house, not a building. A mansion that looked like it teleported from a rich estate in the city. Fresh paint, tall pillars, polished railings, wide balcony. Compound spacious enough for 5 weddings. Flowers arranged like the entrance of a presidential lodge. Someone shouted, "Hey, this must be what they call heaven quarters." Another said, "Ah, is this house renting rooms for villagers to be admiring?" Even the chief's palace looked jealous. Mr. Ronald and Mrs. Patricia stood speechless, tears filling their eyes. Everything they had ever dreamed of but never imagined was now in front of them. Mr. Ronald whispered, "My son, I am proud of you. Too proud." Mrs. Patricia held Anna tightly. "My daughter, may your joy never reduce." Ethan placed his arms around his parents. Anna hugged them too. It was a moment that touched even the hardest hearts. The celebration continued till evening. Food everywhere, palm wine flowing, children running, drums beating. Riverstone Village had never seen anything like it. And that day, one thing became clear. Destiny can enter quietly, but when it wants to show itself, even a whole village will stand still. One quiet Wednesday morning in the city, just 1 week after Ethan and Anna returned from Riverstone Village, the mansion woke up with plenty of peace. The kind of peace rich people enjoy when the AC is humming, the generator is snoozing, and breakfast smells like luxury. Anna was in the living room, sipping her smoothie like a madam who finally made it in life, when the intercom buzzed. "Madam! Madam!" The gateman's voice trembled like someone who saw what his eyes couldn't explain. "Yes, Musa, talk to me. 6 women dey gate, all of them dey shout say dem must see Mr. Ethan. Dem say urgent." Anna paused mid-sip. 6 women? Urgent? For who? Her husband? Her heart raced like DSTV subscription about to expire. But she didn't let it show. With the grace of a queen who now had money, comfort, and AC confidence, she replied, "Let them in." But deep down she muttered, 6 women key? Is Ethan running a charity organization I don't know about? Musa opened the gate, and the sight almost made Anna drop her smoothie. Walking in like a marching band from a dramatic Nollywood soap opera were the 6 women. Melissa, the same Melissa Grant who once told Ethan he wasn't her spec because he was too poor to afford air freshener. Agatha, the gossip queen of Riverstone, who always smelled like smoked fish and trouble. Ephioma, sweet-faced but sharp-mouthed. Her own hello can cut someone. Vanessa, the fashionista who used to catwalk on Riverstone's dusty roads like it was Paris runway. And 2 other women Anna faintly recognized from the village, both wearing wrapper like they came prepared for drama and victory. Anna blinked twice. She blinked again. But no, her eyes weren't lying. The women entered the mansion with the confidence of people who owned shares in it. Their slippers slapped the marble tiles as if announcing, "We have arrived." Melissa stepped forward first, her eyelashes long enough to sweep the floor. "Anna Miles," she said dramatically. "Good morning," Anna replied cautiously. "Where is Ethan?" Melissa asked, her tone sharp like she was asking for her husband. Anna's eyebrow rose. "N? For my husband?" Before she could speak, Agatha jumped in. "Please tell him we came from the village. We came for very important discussion." "Very important," Ephioma hissed. "Important is even small. It is urgent and destiny-related." Vanessa nodded quickly. "Tell him we're ready." Anna paused again. "Ready for what exactly?" She cleared her throat. Ladies, you people didn't tell me who exactly you are to my husband and why you are here." Melissa smirked like a villain in a season finale. "Don't worry, Ethan will explain better." Anna felt her heartbeat double. The mansion suddenly felt too quiet, too suspicious. Before she could ask more questions, she heard the sound of approaching footsteps. Ethan had just come downstairs, and immediately the six women turned towards him. Their faces changed, their eyes softened, and in one synchronized dramatic chorus worthy of a Nigerian telenovela, they all shouted, "Ethan!" Anna froze. Ethan froze. Even the AC paused small. What were these women doing here? Why were they calling her husband like long-lost lovers reunited on national TV? Something wasn't right. Something was about to erupt, and Anna could feel it. This visit was not ordinary. Not at all. Ethan finally reached the living room, still wiping sleep from his eyes, wondering why the house suddenly felt like a marketplace without permission. The moment the six women saw him, they sat up straight like students caught cheating during WebEC. Ethan frowned. "Good morning. What exactly is happening here? Why are you all here?" Immediately, like a choir that had rehearsed for weeks, they replied in one loud, enthusiastic chorus, "We are here to say yes to your proposal." Ethan blinked. Anna's jaw dropped. The gateman behind the door whispered, "Blood of Jesus." Before anyone could speak, Agatha stood dramatically, adjusting her wrapper like she was preparing for a cultural festival. "Ethan, my dear," she began with a smile too wide to trust, "do you remember that day you were coming from the farm with firewood on your head, and you told me, 'Agatha, marry me, I love you'? I know I said no, but I've thought about it. I don't mind being second wife now." Anna choked on her own breath, but Vanessa wasn't having it. She jumped in like a contestant in a beauty pageant introduction. "Please shift, Agatha. Ethan, baby, remember when you told me I'm the most beautiful girl in Riverstone Village? That you can't live without me? Well," she flipped her hair, "I'm ready now. I was just afraid of your poverty then, but now I see your potential." Anna almost said potential Warasini, but she held herself. Then Melissa stepped forward like the villain finally giving her monologue. She batted her eyelashes and sighed dramatically. "Ethan, first of all, I'm sorry for the insult I poured on you last time. You know, when I said you weren't my type and I can never date a man who can't afford Vaseline." Anna glared. Ethan frowned. Melissa smiled sweetly. Fake sweetly. "Anyway, I accept. Yes, I will marry you." Anna screamed. "Excuse me?" Melissa turned to her slowly. "Don't shout, sis. Calm down. See, we will allow you to remain the first wife, no wahala. But as you see us, we are not going back to that village. We need husband. Your husband is our choice." The other women nodded like they were voting in an election. Since he loved us first, he must still love us forever. At this point, Anna was shaking. Not from fear, from rage, confusion, disbelief, and premium Nigerian annoyance. Ethan stared at them for a long moment, then suddenly burst into laughter. Not small laughter, the kind of laughter that echoed through the mansion like a generator blowing after overload. The women exchanged worried glances. Ethan wiped tears from his eyes and said, Wait. Are you people acting comedy skit? Is this prank, or have you all lost your senses at the same time?" Agatha gasped. Vanessa hissed. Melissa folded her arms. Ethan's face suddenly turned cold, frighteningly cold. "Listen carefully," he said slowly. "If you are not acting comedy, then start preparing to leave my house now." The six women froze. Ethan took one step forward. They all took one step backward. He leaned in, voice low and dangerous. "Did I call any of you? Did I send message? Did I post advert for new wives?" He clapped loudly. "Get out." But Melissa raised her hand. "We are not going anywhere." Anna screamed again. "EHN?" Melissa nodded stubbornly. "Yes, even if you don't marry us again, we can stay here as your housemaids. Cleaner, cook, laundress, anything. But we will not return to the village." Ethan stared at them like he was about to summon thunder. Anna held his arm, whispering, "Baby, calm down. Don't break anything expensive." But he gently removed her hand, stepped closer to the women and said, "You people want to stay?" They nodded cautiously. Ethan smiled, the kind of smile that makes someone check if their life is insured. He clapped his hands once. "Musa!" The gateman rushed in. "Oga, sir! Go outside and open the back gate, then call security. Tell them they have 6 bags of rubbish to throw out." The 6 women screamed in unison. "Anan! Ethan! This is wickedness. We came with love. Haba." But Ethan was unmoved. "You came with madness, and you will leave with speed." He pointed to the door. "Out, now." Anna folded her arms, watching them flee like goats chased with hot water. They scrambled for their slippers. Agatha fell twice. Vanessa cried. Melissa hissed like a snake with heartbreak. Within minutes, the compound was silent again. Anna turned to Ethan slowly, hands on her waist like a typical Nigerian wife about to deliver judgment. "Ethan, can you imagine? Because God has buttered our bread now. They all carried their slippers and came to say yes to you. Years after." Ethan raised his brows dramatically and shrugged like someone who just witnessed village madness live. "Sweetheart," he said with exaggerated emphasis, "if you know how these girls humiliated me in." Their no was so loud, I nearly packed my bag to relocate to Cameroon. I was embarrassed every day in Riverstone Village. Anna burst into loud, uncontrollable laughter, the type that makes someone hold their stomach and bend forward. "Kai? Ethan, so you suffered like that?" He nodded with mock seriousness. "Suffer? My love, if humiliation was a job, they promoted me to manager. Melissa told me I was too poor to even greet her. Vanessa said my poverty was affecting her perfume. Agatha said my shadow alone was an insult to her destiny." Anna was laughing so hard tears rolled down her cheeks. Ethan spread his hands dramatically. "But look at them now. They have come to say yes to me like they're delivering Christmas chicken. After how many years?" Anna wiped her face, still laughing. "And now they want to eat buttered bread. Where were they when you were chewing dry Gary?" Suddenly, ring! Ring! Ethan's phone began to ring loudly. He looked at the screen and smiled. "It's my mother." He picked up. "Hello, Mama." His mother didn't even let him finish. "My son!" Her voice blasted through the phone like radio without volume control. "Mama Amara just told me something now. She said all those useless girls that refused to marry you that time are planning to come to the city to force you into marriage." Anna covered her mouth to stop herself from laughing. Mrs. Patricia continued, "My son, lock your gate. Oh, don't allow anybody enter. Nobody should disturb my daughter-in-law's peace. Let them go and marry their destiny helpers." Ethan burst into laughter. Anna fell back on the sofa, laughing like someone who just inhaled laughing gas. Ethan managed to speak between laughs. "Mama, we just sent them back to the village now. They were here acting drama. I nearly called Nollywood to come and audition them." His mother gasped. "They came already?" "Yes, Mama." "And you didn't record it, Ethan? Opportunities like this don't come every day." Anna snatched the phone playfully. "Mama, don't mind your son. He scared them away." Mrs. Patricia laughed so loudly the phone speaker shook. "N, my daughter, finish them. Let them know city is not for everybody." The three of them laughed together until Ethan's mother finally ended the call. Anna fell into Ethan's arms, still giggling. "Baby, this life in. See how tables turn." Ethan nodded proudly. "My love, the table didn't just turn, it somersaulted, backflipped, and landed in our favor." Anna kissed his cheek. "Abeg, let's go and celebrate. I've laughed enough for one day." And together, hand in hand, they walked deeper into their beautiful home, leaving Riverstone Village drama firmly outside their gate. Hello, beloved viewers. Thank you so much for watching today's heartwarming and hilarious story. Moral lesson: life is unpredictable. Tables turn. Stories change. You are never compelled to say yes to every proposal. That one is your personal choice. But your no should never be coded with insult or humiliation. Treat people with respect, because you don't know who they will become tomorrow. The same person you look down on today may become the person you'll need tomorrow. So choose kindness. It costs nothing. If you enjoyed this video, please don't forget to like, comment in your own language, share with your friends, and subscribe for more emotional, dramatic, and inspiring stories. turn on your notification bell so you don't miss the next episode, besties. Thank you for watching. See you in the next story.